gone past Talangata and turned off heading down towards Omeo, Mitter, Omeo, on that direction. So I've been on the road to from Omeo to Talangata in that direction one other time, and this time I've gone in the opposite direction. So I started off at Talangata, heading down to Omeo, and it's just an awesome road. There's so many curves. It's a great road for motorcycling. Hard to beat the Victorian Alps and the New South Wales Alps. Down, I stopped, or I turned off and went into Dartmouth Dam just to have a look at it. Yeah, it's quite a large dam, it looked pretty full. Nice little township there that you can maybe have a holiday. There are a few boaty people there. Yeah, so that was interesting. So this is at Dartmouth Dam near Mitter. It's quite a big dam, huge dam wall. Power station way down the valley there. Bike's going well, the roads are great, hardly any traffic. I'm heading off towards Omeo. I stopped in Mitter, or just outside of Mitter briefly, to have a look at the, it's called the Pioneer Mine. So it's an old gold mine, and it was a sluicing operation. So in the old days they would have had high pressure hoses with water, squirting jets of water up at this the sides of a cliff face along the valley to wash the rock and stuff down into the valley, where they would have processed it somehow. It would have been a messy operation, and I think I read that at some point the Victorian government outlawed it because of the pollution that it caused in the rivers. So I'm standing in a gully just outside of Mitter, where there's an old gold mining sluicing operation back in the 1800s. So there's a big cliff here that was sluiced using high pressure hoses, and then a whole lot of gold extraction down in the valley. So it's pretty dense old bush now, but it would have been a hive of activity 100 years ago. So the stairway's going up like a pile of rocks, or malachite, from the big rocks that were washed down from the cliffs and tossed here. Now walking along the top of the mullock pile, we've got tons and tons and tons of rocks forming a little ridge here. It would have been tough work. Another view of the cliff face over there. It was sluiced. Leaving Mitter and heading south towards Omeo, the road followed it's called the Snowy Creek. So there are lots of little spots there where you can see the creek. It looked beautiful. There's one or two places that you could camp. I think one place was called the Lightning Campground. Yeah, so I didn't go camping, but it would be a nice spot. It's Snowy Creek. Lightning Creek camp spot. Nice little place, right? it the Mount Wills Historic Area on the road between Mitter and Omeo. So looks like they get some old machinery here from what was a very rich gold mine back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Extreme. So here's the entrance to one of the shafts of the mine that goes in this area. Add it, so it goes in. I was talking to the guy that's doing a lot of restoration. He said it goes in, and there's a shaft down, then there's tunnels off either way apparently, but it's full of water and it's fenced off. The fella's doing a whole heap of restoration work to the stamping battery or whatever they had up here, crushers and things. It all got burnt in the bushfires, I think he said in 2000. And he spent thousands of hours restoring the machinery in there. Little creek. And apparently there's shafts in this hill all over the place, according to him. Gold was discovered in early operations in the Glen Willis area about 1891, from what I read, after tin mining failed. So initially people were out up there looking for tin, and tin ran out or became unprofitable. They turned looking for gold. And the gold mine I looked at was called the Maude and Geological. So the Geological reef opened up in 1892, and it apparently had phenomenal yields of gold, up to 42 ounces a tonne in pockets, but they were small offshoots of ore, so not easy to find. From about 1902, they had a 5-head stamping battery, water driven, and that would have been used to pulverise the ore into fine particles that made gold extraction a bit simpler. First crushing in 1905 yielded about, about 4,500 ounces of gold just from 2,000 tonnes, so that's a lot of gold from not so much ore. Around about 1907, they introduced a steam-driven plant, and according to the records, it produced about 75,000 pounds, as in Australian pounds, not dollars, worth of gold. There was a steam battery put in 1912, and that was replaced by a water-driven battery in 1916 before closure. The Maude and Geological company, that was started up in 1931. World War II came along, and there's a few reports that labour shortages were an issue, so operations were scaled back during World War II. The mine was closed in 1952, but there was some sporadic work going on up till about 1967. And here's an interesting fact, that the total yield of the Maude and Geological mine was 103,556 ounces, so that's a lot of gold. In today's dollars, that's $272,180,000, so very profitable mine, and it that formed half of the total output of the Mount Wills area. Some of the rock that would have been taken from the mine piled up along this creek. This hill, there's a little reservoir where water's been diverted from the creeks, and it runs down a pipe through a Pelton wheel that drove a compressor into a big compressed air tank, and he had to retrieve that tank from up Swift's Creek somewhere where it had been taken by a sawmill years and years ago, so he's scouting around to find the gear that disappeared from here to bring it back and restore it. I'll see you later, Ted. Thanks for the information.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Yeah, all the best with your progress here.
Yeah, enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
How'd you go at the island, all right?
Yeah, it was great.
Good.
Yeah, a bit wet on the Friday morning, but after that the weather was okay.
Yeah. The boys had a good wipe out.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch some of it?
Yeah, I do actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a bit excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll see ya.
Right, mate. All the best.
You too, mate. Bye.
Thank you.
A little old train line running out here. Old equipment lying around. Yeah, it's good to see him restoring this stuff. It's a big job though, and only he and one other guy work on it. Just voluntarily by the sound of it. The Mount Wills Historic Area. After you leave the Glen Wills mining area, the road followed, was it called the Glen Wills Creek for a while, and then it followed Big River, which was a bit more substantial, and again some more nice campgrounds along Big River. And along that Big River area, there's a turn off there that runs over to Mount Beauty via Falls Creek. I didn't go that way. I have been that way one other time. It's another great road, but this time I stayed on the road that goes down to Omeo. Once I hit Omeo, I was running a bit short of time. I would have liked to stop and had a meal there, but I was getting a bit late in the day, so I kept on going. I fueled up and kept on going. Then I turned off on the Great Alpine Road and followed that up past Dinner Plain and then down through Hotham. I stopped just briefly at Hotham to have a look at the scenery. There's a little bit of snow around. Just tiny patches here and there around Hotham, but the weather was nice. It's pretty chilly, about 6 or 7 degrees here. There's a tiny bit of snow on the peak over there. Just looking out over the valley. And then the road winds its way down to Harriettville, which is a beautiful little town back down in the valley. And then from there I rode on to Mount Beauty. Somewhere near Mount Beauty, I came around a corner, I could smell this beautiful perfume. It was, I think, a row of lilac trees, and I captured it on the video, and I saw another stand of them a bit further on, so yeah, really nice. Big trees and just a beautiful smell. Stayed at Mount Beauty. I stayed at Mount Beauty overnight, and the next day I headed off down towards Backasmarsh to meet some mates, so that was pretty much the end of the high country riding. Even the ride down to Backasmarsh was nice, but yeah, this video ends at Mount Beauty, so hope you enjoy it. If you ever get a chance to get into the Victorian or New South Wales high country on a road bike, yeah, you should try it. And one day maybe I'll get back there on the dirt bike. We'll see.